This is a show about getting spooked for fun, and neither one of the hosts are associated with the attractions discussed in any way, except for those skeletons in Devin's closet. Some topics may go from ghoulish to ghastly, so viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great American Scream.
Okay, Adam, I got your text last night about we're doing the Beetlejuice thing, so I've got all my other favorite stars up here. I've got Sirius, Rigel, Vega, Formalhaut. I've got all of them, Alpha Centauri. So what's spooky about these stars? I don't get.
So I have something that may change your plans, because not only are we not talking about the star Beetlejuice, we're not even talking about the movie Beetlejuice. And that was three. That was three. Whoops.
You're telling me that not only is all of this star-related research out the window, and not only did I just peek my microphone, I think for the first time in the whole podcast, but also we're not even talking about the movie Beetlejuice.
No, we're not. Well, we are kind of talking about the movie by extension. Because, we're...
Yeah, Adam. Hey, Adam, this is not, I'm out of the intro bit. Hi, welcome to the Great American Scream. I'm Devin Wright. That's Adam O'Connell.
Yeah.
And why don't you take the reins and explain what you've done to our horror culture and history show this week?
Here's the thing. I was really, really itching to do a theme park episode.
Me too. I'm with you there.
Yeah. Ever since quarantine started, every 2 months, I just get sad about theme parks again. And so I'm hitting that stride right now. So I really wanted to do a theme park episode. We haven't done one since we did our Icons of Halloween Horror Nights episode. But, we've talked about Halloween Horror Nights. We talked about the Haunted Mansion. We've talked about the Tower of Terror. There's a lot of
extraterrestrial encounter.
Yeah, we talked about we talked about that one.
Yep. Breakfastizer's favorite ride.
Yeah, and I was thinking we're gonna run out of theme park stuff to talk about, but I found something that we haven't talked about yet.
We got all the way to the bottom of that barrel, and you said, I don't think this barrel's quite empty yet. Let me scrape.
It's not the bottom.
Let me scrape up this.
Today I would like to talk about a now defunct attraction, at least in the American parks.
Michael Perger, good ass.
Yeah, it is still alive in Universal Studios Japan, which means they get Nintendo World and also this. It goes by many names, but
his name is Kevin. I don't know why I went with Michael. That's probably Kevin Perger's father, Michael.
Michael Perger. It goes by many names, but perhaps best known as
Dante's Divine Comedy, the New Testament, the Necronomicon.
Beetlejuice's Graveyard Revue at Universal Studios. AKA the Universal Monsters Live Rock and Roll Show, AKA Beetlejuice's Graveyard Mashup, AKA Beetlejuice's Rock and Roll Graveyard Review, AKA Beetlejuice's Rockin' Graveyard Review. This show has gone through quite the identity crisis in the years, and we're going to talk about that.
AKA they thought a Universal Classic Monsters review wouldn't work out, so they put Beetlejuice on it.
Yeah, it was not. We're even going to. Okay. I'm not going to spoil because we'll talk about it in a second. But so this attraction closed in Florida to make room for perhaps the worst theme park ride ever created, even worse than Superstar Limo.
What?
Which is very disappointing because it was one of
Minions?
No, it's not the Minions. It's Fast and the Furious. We'll talk about that shortly. We'll talk about that towards the end, at the end of Beetlejuice's lifespan. But this was...
He's dead? Oh, the attraction. You're not talking about the man.
I mean, he is dead.
Yeah,
this was one of my favorite attractions at Universal Studios, not just because it starred Beetlejuice and the Universal Classic Monsters, two properties I really like, but I love campy theme park review shows.
Okay, I'm going to stop you.
I love them.
We need to, I refuse to subscribe to the bull crap, if I may say, if I may be blue on this podcast. I won't subscribe to the marketing crap of calling everything at a theme park an attraction because you don't want to say that you only have X rides and the rest of them are shows. This is not an attraction. This is a show.
Fine, it's a show. I consider an attraction to be just anything that you could. It's an activity. An activity. Would you prefer I call it an activity?
I watched this and I would not consider myself attracted to it.
Anyway,
I would call it a repulsion.
It's because I love campy theme park review shows. I love them all. I'm always thinking of them in my head. I adore them.
Pull one out right now. What's your dream theme park review show? My
dream theme park review show?
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of already my dream theme park review show.
That's really sad.
I've always wanted to see, though, so there's this thing in Disneyland, or it used to be in Disneyland, I don't know if it's there anymore, in their downtown Disney area, where they had a Alice in Wonderland themed rock band that would play like weekend nights, and all of the different members of the band were like rock and roll versions of the characters from Alice in Wonderland. So like Alice was the lead singer, and there was the guitarist was the Mad Hatter, like the caterpillar was the drummer and stuff. It was really cool, and they would play not Alice in Wonderland songs, but like Alice in Wonderland like adjacent songs or songs that shared themes. Like they would play like Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm super into. I've always wanted to see one of those with like Nightmare Before Christmas or something like that.
I want a review show where it's all of the Disney ingenues together. Like you got your Aladdin, Hercules, and also some of the ladies. You got Ariel, Rapunzel, all those fun friends. And it's a competition to see who of them is the most wistful. They do all their different songs.
Also, yes, this Beetlejuice is the show that invented the classic Monsters rock band. However, they invented that. We are perfecting the concept.
Yeah, I also didn't know about it. So that means that we came up with it.
We're perfecting the concept. So we're going to go back and talk about the history of the attractions, existence in the Universal parks, and some of our favorite versions, my favorite versions. But first, because this is Universal Studios, we have to get in the DeLorean and we have to go back.
Okay. I'm glad that ride is still there.
Beetlejuice, yeah. It's basically it's the Simpsons now. It's the exact same ride, different movie. Yeah. So we have to go back to when Beetlejuice was created, because Beetlejuice is not a Universal character. He's super prominent in all of the
So they just had this monster band concept, and then one day Beetlejuice just showed up, and they were like, I guess he's here.
It's a Warner Brothers movie. It came out in 1988, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Winona Ryder, A+ cast. Great movie.
Yeah.
Huge success. Led to a big, like a spin-off animated series, which made the show really popular with kids as well. Because like Beetlejuice, the movie is not really a movie for kids. Not a kid's
show. Yeah.
But the TV show is definitely for kids. So
right.
Now everybody loves Beetlejuice. And it's a Warner Brothers movie, which means...
I want to bring this up real fast. This whole kid-adult line is something that is talked about all the time, that like, oh, Disney does it so well, Pixar does it so well. Beetlejuice is the type of... Or like Shrek does it really well.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice does it in a way where one joke is completely for the adults and one joke is completely for the kids. Because in the first 5 seconds of this freaking musical review show that Adam forced me to watch, Beetlejuice makes a joke about wiping a booger on a fan's hand, and 2 seconds later invites the entire audience to reach their hands to the sides of them and grope either the pectoral muscle or the breast of the people adjacent to them. These are two totally different. That's within those jokes are like back to back. Like they were writing these jokes and they were like, let's put the fondling one right after the booger one.
I think that the way that Beetlejuice does it too is that like Beetlejuice is one of those line movies where like the line isn't that like, oh, the humor is both funny to kids and adults. It's that this is the line that like most parents of like, okay, this is like the most I will let you watch my child.
Yeah, and the most I will let the most embarrassed I will allow myself to be while watching a movie with you.
Yeah, exactly. But it is a Warner Brothers movie, not a Universal movie, which does mean that Beetlejuice can and should be in the new Space Jam.
Let's get it going. Let's put him in the new Animaniacs. That crazy guy.
Same themes, really, but I digress. However, Beetlejuice has been licensed for use at multiple theme parks, most notably Universal, but like if you have a theme park, dear listeners, you can license Beetlejuice for use in your park.
He's very cheap.
Yeah. He is. You know he is. And as we talked about before, we got a Beetlejuice Halloween Horror Nights house this year, kind of. Like we were gonna, and then it canceled, so that they opened it for a couple days. And he appears as a walk-around character at Universal Studios Florida and Hollywood during like normal times. Currently, he's been doing the intro to the horror makeup show. Since they're not doing the walk-around characters. And can I just say, from the videos I've seen from there, he's just magical. Like rolling about the stage, messing with the stuff on set. Like they give him a big bottle of hand sanitizer, and so kids can go up and ask him for hand sanitizer. And like there's videos of him just like pumping like half the bottle of this hand sanitizer in kids' hands,
these poor kids'
like
hands.
putting it in his hands and like tossing it about the audience. It's very good.
It's like 80% alcohol.
I would like to commend him for his work that he's doing right now. He has a face shield that has a sandworm around it.
Oh, that's good. I like the idea of having a Beetlejuice walk around character, because that just gives some representation to half of the Renaissance Fair characters that we've ever interacted with. It's just Beetlejuice.
Yeah. The first day after I moved to Florida, the first day I was my roommates and I went to Universal, I was taking a picture of Beetlejuice, and I showed him my keys because I have a little handbook for the recently deceased notebook on my keychains, and he just took my keys and just ran.
That's very good.
It was really good.
You still haven't found your keys.
Yeah, no, he still has them. He can get into my Florida apartment.
That was just a dude.
So, yes, he currently appears as a walk-around character. However, he did used to have several other Universal shows other than his Revue. He was paired with the Ghostbusters, who also don't really have as much of a presence in the parks anymore, other than the house that we got last year, because the Ghostbusters also used to be walk-around characters, and the firehouse is there. People don't realize that it's the Ghostbusters firehouse because of Rip Ride Rocket goes right through it. But it literally does.
Rocket, good roller coaster.
Painful roller coaster from what I've heard.
Intimate accelerator.
Little rough. It's old though.
It's old
for that kind of coaster.
But you get to like choose out of your favorite early 2000s songs.
Yeah. So from 1990 to 1991, he appeared in like a Streetmosphere production called Ghostbusters House Call, which then was replaced by Beetlejuice Dead in Concert, which is a very good title.
Yeah, Beetlejuice lends itself to very good titles.
Yeah. And that was replaced with Extreme Ghostbusters, The Great Frightway.
That's also a great name. And I also just like upgrading the Ghostbusters to Extreme Ghostbusters. Like they're like Digimon, where like they get to be the Mecha Ghostbusters, and they have big metal arms now.
Yeah. So all of these shows were some variant of the Ghostbusters trying to defeat Beetlejuice. Some of them, most of them, I think, had musical numbers involved, where Beetlejuice would like possess the Ghostbusters and make them dance to like late 90s rock music and disco songs.
Good.
It's good, right? It's good.
That's a good idea.
And
instead of Slimer, it should have been Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that would have been good. However, the first permanent Beetlejuice show at Universal Studios was Beetlejuice's Rock and Roll Graveyard Revue, 1992, in I think both Florida and Hollywood. In Florida, it replaced the Fievel and American Tail stage show that had been there since
I want to talk
day.
About this real fast, because last night. So I've been watching this Kingdom Hearts YouTuber, and he calls Mickey Mouse Michael Mouse because they're not on a first name basis anymore. Like he doesn't like him, so he doesn't call him by his nickname. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that Mickey Mouse might be short for Michael Mouskowitz, and he actually was Fievel's like uncle.
Oh,
but then he went and got rich and didn't help out his fellow immigrant friends when they came to America, which I think is kind of screwed up, honestly.
Yeah, but that's. Fievel was replaced by Beetlejuice in Florida, and then Hollywood, it replaced Conan the Barbarian special effects show, which you can tell there's a pretty big discrepancy between the two theaters at these two different parks. And you can tell in different productions, because the theater in Florida and where the Fievel show was, it was a small outdoor theater with like bleacher seating and not a lot of rigging for special effects and stuff. It was just kind of meant to be like an outdoor stage you could put anything on. While the theater in Hollywood was literally built to house a special effects show. And
Which
let me
one
tell
did
you
I
that
watch?
the one in Hollywood.
Okay.
Let me tell you, they use the special effects rigging. They did not get rid of anything they used in Conan.
They tried. There was a moving crew who was supposed to take a bunch of fireworks away from the Conan the Barbarian, and Beetlejuice himself went there, and he disguised himself as one of the mover people, and he was like, "No, actually, it's going this way," and he brought it back.
The set in Florida is still. Have you seen the show in Florida in person? You did, because I thought you've been to you've been to Universal.
I've been to Universal quite a bit, yes.
But you never stopped and saw the show?
I'm not there for Beetlejuice or really any show. I'm there for the Hulk. I'm there for the Mummy. I'm there for my good friend Spider's Man.
But the stage in Florida was also pretty cool. It was this like big
and
castle
hot
set.
butterbeer.
Hot
butterbeer's good, and it's always
People
gone.
debate over frozen butterbeer versus regular butterbeer.
The debate is
the answer is neither. It's hot butterbeer. Which they only offer in the winter for some dumb. It's not a dumb reason. It's like 100 degrees in Florida in the
Florida.
summer.
It's Florida. It's not cold in winter. Just give me the hot butterbeer. There's fake snow on all the buildings. It still fits your theming.
Hot butterbeer. So the original version of the show starred Beetlejuice and the Universal Classic Monsters. The original lineup was Frankenstein, The Bride, Dracula, Wolfman, and the Phantom of the Opera. The premise was that Beetlejuice would get the audience to say Beetlejuice 3 times, which transforms the monsters into a rock and roll group that goes on to perform themed pop and rock songs. And that's been the premise of pretty much every version of the show, with some variation and then pretty major switch ups of the lineup and the soundtrack. And also which in the Florida production had this would lead to a very cool quick change effect with fog jets, because they would all come out on their classic Universal Classic Monsters regalia, and then they would go behind this fog screen and it would change, and they were like the Black Eyed Peas now. Not really, but
I really like that. They're singing,
one of the productions did open with what's that? Let's Get It Started. That used to be one of the opening numbers, so that's why I thought of that. And especially the Bride of Frankenstein, because her costume has gone through some widely different variations throughout the years of this show. And then Frankenstein, the rest of them are just singers. Usually Frankenstein's on guitar for almost all the versions. Don't know why Frankie in particular, but they just slap a guitar on that man.
That's his thing, yeah.
So this original version ran from 1992 to 2005 in Florida, and then from 1992 to 1995 in Hollywood. Also, Wayne Brady played Dracula in the Florida show in 1992, and he was 20 years old.
Good for him.
Yeah. So in each version of the show, each monster will usually get some kind of solo. And so the lineup for this original version was as following. The Wolfman would sing something called the Wolfman's Rap, which I couldn't find what that was. And then also that song, Thank You for Letting Me Be Myself Again. You know that song? Thank you for letting me be myself. It was in Scooby-Doo 2. It was the ending song in
Scooby-Doo 2.
It was the ending song in Scooby-Doo 2.
That movie's good. Let's talk about that movie.
Well, that's making a mental note to do an episode on those two movies.
Episodes, yeah.
The Phantom of the Opera sang Great Balls of Fire. Yep. The Bride of Frankenstein sang You Make Me Feel Like a Natural Woman. Very powerful.
Song.
Very powerful. Yeah. Frankenstein would sing Hot Blooded and When a Man Loves a Woman. Dracula would sing In the Midnight Hour, the one by Wilson Pickett. And then the finale would be Deo and Jump in the Line, from the Beetlejuice movie.
Yeah.
So
Deo.
So the Banana Boat song. So this version was replaced by
Deo.
was replaced by version 2, which ran in Hollywood from 95 to 99, Florida from 02 to 06, and then this is the version in Japan that opened in 2001, and this is still the version they perform. They have not changed it since 2001, which is
of course not
impressive. So this is where the versions in each park get different. That there's discrepancies between the Hollywood and the Florida versions. They use the same concept and lineup in Florida for both. But in Florida, they cut the Phantom of the Opera and replaced him with 2 dancers named Hip and Hop.
Okay,
fine,
sure.
I guess. I like keeping the Phantom in. This is also the era of the show where Joey Fatone played the Wolfman in Florida.
Oh my God.
But then got so tall that he had to be trained for Dracula and the Phantom of the Opera.
The range of this man.
The range. The Florida version adds a lot of disco to the lineup, which is interesting.
Ooh.
They do It's Raining Men, YMCA, Hot Stuff, I Will Survive, all gets added to the Florida lineup, which is an interesting direction. But frankly, I want to dedicate this time to talk about the Hollywood version of this era, because this is the version that I made Devin watch, and this is the supreme version of this show. So there's a video of the closing day in Hollywood in 1999, and it is so good. The performers are giving me everything. The videographer has professional cameras and angles and access to the backing tracks and the mic feeds, so the audio is really good.
Yeah, the audio sometimes cuts to like whatever the feed in the stadium thing is, which shows you that maybe the setup was not so good, but it doesn't matter. Also,
it was 1999.
It's uploaded by a company named Crapco.
Yeah.
It's just so perfect for this.
Well, they filmed it. This was a gift for the actors as their closing day, and then like they just uploaded it to YouTube later on.
The energy of the like opening, like super 90s opening sequence, and that part's so good. And then my favorite part of all of it, which is what I told Adam, the audience is not that fired up.
Well, I'm sure this was like a 3 p.m. show, and the audience doesn't know it's the last day.
The audience doesn't know it's the last one.
Yeah.
So they're just having a regular time. And the actors are giving
it's so good.
Everything.
Please watch it. The channel is called Crapco, Crappco. It's so good. Please watch it.
You have to watch it. It's so bad. I hated every second of it.
Oh, I literally I'll go back when I'm like feeling down. I go back and I watch this. So it starts off with this is how every show starts off too, with Beetlejuice like monologuing, hyping up the crowd, interacting with the audience, doing jokes and improv.
Going a mile a minute. This man. He again
physical
transfers.
Comedy.
He goes physical comedy. He goes to booger joke. He goes to fondling joke. Then he goes to he found somebody with a stripe bag. You have my bag. Maybe it has money in it. Okay, you hold on to it. Like he's going so fast.
So
and then he goes. He finishes with this little audience participation. And then he does one of those call and responses. But the joke is just that the audience says nice ass.
He makes the audience say nice ass.
It's literally. It feels like a day of interacting with street performers at the New York Renaissance Fair, but condensed into 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's so good. So then, like, all the monsters come out, very dramatically.
Yeah, fireworks start going.
Fireworks. Dracula enters on a zip line.
And I'm sure all these actors are lovely people, but they have very diverse levels of talent vocally.
Really? I thought they were all super good.
I mean, they all seem very talented, but they don't all seem to have a voice that fits this specific show. So
they do all have quite different voices.
You have like Beetlejuice, who very clearly has the voice down, and then you have Bride of Frankenstein, who's like her voice is incredible in this, so good. And then you have like Phantom of the Opera, who comes out and you can tell he's like a 19-year-old musical theater student.
Very MT voice,
and like, it's so funny to watch him
They're
sing.
all great. It's just different.
They're all great. It's just the difference between them is so funny.
So the opening number for this version is a mashup of Rockin' the Paradise and Rock and Roll All Night in a, what I may say, pretty dang good arrangement.
I was wondering to myself, like, what talented person was contracted to arrange these?
I Googled it and I found her website too. She, like the woman who wrote the show.
Let's get her on the pod.
She writes all sorts of theme park shows. It's so good. And like the arrangements for this and the backing tracks are pretty stellar. So then the Wolfman performs a mashup of Knock on Wood, an incredible disco song, and Do You Love Me? And the song's like, do you love me? Do you really do?
Yes, I watched it.
This is for them, not for you.
Okay.
Knock on Wood was one of my favorite discos. And it's like, it's not the regular disco tempo of Knock on Wood either. It's like, he goes like, there was thunder. Like, it's so good.
The amount of pyrotechnics in this show, y'all. At one point, Beetlejuice just throws sparks across the stage at seemingly for no reason.
Yeah, like, it's in the middle of a dialogue scene when he points his finger and the spark effect goes. And it's like, you could tell, they just had that. They were like, sure, just use it for that. Then the Bride of Frankenstein sings I Will Survive. This woman's voice is out of this world. And her costume, I think this is the best version of the Bride of Frankenstein costume that we see in any of these versions.
In any production that involves the Bride of Frankenstein whatsoever.
She's got this like purple blue kind of like bustier dress on, and then this white like overpiece that like clips around her neck, and it's like a jacket, but it's so good. And then her wig's really nice too, because in the original version they kept the stand-up wig on her, and it looked a little funny.
Elvira,
but this one, she's like, it's like a loose curl with like the two white. It's good.
She looks
great.
She looks sexy in the show.
She's giving me everything in this number. Then the Phantom of the Opera sings Great Balls of Fire.
She did that for the gays.
Yeah, she did. Then the Phantom of the Opera sings Great Balls of Fire. It's fun.
Again, it's very fun, but to be a 19-year-old tenor singing Great Balls of Fire, and it's like, Lordy, Lordy, great balls of fire. And it's like, well, no, that's not.
And he like, because there's a part of the set that like, it's this like old car with this huge light up organ background that's just like the Phantom Zone.
It's the Phantom Zone.
I think they're all supposed to represent like different eras of rock and stuff. So his is like 50s rock and roll and stuff.
The car set piece from iCarly, where in the right of the room, it's the car.
That's right.
That's what the Phantom has.
Yeah, but it's also up. I noticed this piece is up at least 20 steps.
It's very high.
They give him like a single count of 8 to get up it, and he doesn't make it. And they cut away because he doesn't make it to start the piano solo. But they gave this man a single count of 8 to walk up like at least 20 stairs.
He's going.
He goes from the audience because he's doing an audience participation bit. Single count of 8 to run up from the audience back on the stage and then up these stupid stairs.
This tenor twink was complaining the entire rehearsal and being like, so do I still only have an 8 count to get up there?
Yeah.
Can Frankenstein come and do this interaction? No. Okay. I'll make it.
Yeah. And it's good. So then gets to my favorite part of the show, where Dracula sings a mashup of Addicted to Love, which is changed to Addicted to Blood. Very good.
That's
and then in a mashup of In the Midnight Hour. This whole performance in the middle might be why this version is my favorite. This man is giving me cape. This man is giving me face. This man is giving me voice. This man is especially giving me cape. The cape choreo in this is off the chain.
He obtained the cape. Again, this is all actually behind the scenes speculation for us. He got the cape in rehearsal and he's like, this is my whole character, actually. Yeah.
His costume is kind of giving me Kung Fu Hustle. Like, I don't know what the direction of his costume was. He's wearing like a black, it looks like a karate outfit. It's like a black
he's like
top
in a
and
gi.
pants with red line. It's very strange.
I feel like they didn't have an idea. They didn't have an idea for him, and then he just showed up in that one day to rehearsal, and they're like, I guess that's it.
He's got this long black hair. So like they don't do the Bela Lugosi thing. They give him long black hair.
Yeah.
And then this is the thing in most versions where Dracula is lusting after the Bride of Frankenstein. That's the subplot they add, which is like,
it's such a weird. The fact that they were adding a subplot to me was so funny.
Of course, Dracula is going to be the one that's like the hot sex one, but listen, he's also, you can't see what
Adam just did a
Devin,
limp wrist in the Zoom call. But also this is my favorite part about this thing and why I hated it. In a loving way. Yeah. Because we both worked at a Renaissance fair, which is basically just a theme park that doesn't pay its employees. And you have the same kinds of shows where literally the only reason these shows exist is to get people out of the park for 25 minutes.
Yeah. It's crowd control.
It is crowd control top to bottom. And so, I was like, what are they going to do to keep my attention for 25 minutes? Are they just going to sing songs? Because then I'm totally good with it. But no, they said, let's add a storyline in which Beetlejuice takes control of the Universal Classic Monsters, which, again, Beetlejuice is not owned by Universal. Universal said, we're going to let this Warner Brothers character come in and take control. They're paying
yearly to license Beetlejuice.
Yeah, take control of our beloved characters. And not only have them sing, we're going to have a subplot where Bride of Frankenstein, and at one point, the Frankenstein man loves a woman, they sing together at one point. It's just, there's a lot going on.
It's so good. But this Dracula part is my favorite. This man's voice, this is a rock contratenor, this man.
Yes.
High voice. He also, he lets out these moans in the middle of the song. I
did notice the anatomopoetic
That's what he ends the song with. Like, that's the end. There's
Does he end it with a moan? Oh my God.
Literally, when we're done recording this, I'm gonna go back and watch it again. It's so good. But yeah, it's my favorite part. And then the Frankenstein sings "When a Man Loves a Woman" to the Bride of Frankenstein, which by this man's voice is amazing.
Very good. Yeah.
Honestly, this is the only song of this lineup I would switch out, because in the Florida version of this one, he sings "Smooth," the Matchbox 20 and Carlos Santana song, and I would really like him to sing that in this one too. But "When a Man Loves a Woman" is fine.
Yeah.
And then it ends with they sing "Higher" and then go back to like "Rock and Roll All Night" and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like a nice little mashup to end it out.
There's fireworks every 4 seconds.
It's a dangerous show. There's wire work.
It's insanity.
This was a time when like Disney was like at its kind of low point of the late 90s in theme parks, and Universal just came in and was like, let's just throw money at a Beetlejuice musical review. Like, that's great.
This would unfortunately be the last version for Hollywood, as this was the closing version of the show there, and was replaced with Spider-Man Rocks, which here was not as good.
He sure does.
Which I think is just a different version of the Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
I don't think it's.
I'm sure it's the same.
I mean, I'm sure there's less injury in Spider-Man.
Less injury,
Rocks.
and they use pop songs instead of original songs. But the show continues in Florida. So the show gets changed again in 2006, and this version ran from 2014. This is the version that I remember seeing the first time I went to Universal Studios. Again, Phantom is cut from the versions from now on.
A travesty.
But Hip and Hop are still in it, and they're cheerleaders now, which slightly fits the thing of the show better, because previously, like in the original version, they were just these two girls in like juicy tracksuits and like colored wigs. And everyone was like, huh? But now they're like Transylvania cheerleaders, so it makes more sense.
That's cute.
Their costumes are much cuter. It makes way more sense. This is
I like the idea of them just being in tracksuits, as if they like just walked out of like I guess that's in Orlando, but if it was in Hollywood, they got done with their morning run in Runyon Valley, and they just like they got to Studio City, and that's like, let's do a review.
This version is the one that opens with "Let's Get It Started." Remember, this was 2006, 2014. This is the kind of music that we're
Black Eyed Peas were where it was at.
Yeah. The Wolfman sings "Jump," which
might as well.
Yeah, might as well. He's not. I mean, the Wolfman never really gets a song that has anything to do with him. But like, there are so many like Moon songs you could have sang. But I mean, it's good.
Oh, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Oh, why isn't that in this show?
Yeah.
Anyway, the Bride of Frankenstein sings "I Will Survive." They keep that for her. Frankenstein's Monster, they switch his song to "Dancing in the Dark" since he's on the guitar.
Okay.
Which is like, it's that song's a banger, but it's a little mellow for this version.
Yeah, I mean, it fits.
Kind of cools things down a little.
Kind of solemn. He gives a kind of solemn beat of meditation in the middle of this show.
Okay, so do you want to know why that it's "Dancing in the Dark"? Is because the thing that precedes the song is a joke about Frankenstein being afraid of fire. Like, they do a fire thing, and Frankenstein freaks out, and then they go to.
He doesn't like it. That's actually the reason they don't have pyrotechnics, is because Frankenstein is afraid. This is actually a big version of Plato's allegory of the cave.
The Dracula, they change his songs to "Jesse's Girl," which becomes "Frankie's Girl," and then
I'm into that. I like that.
"You Give Love a Bad Name." See, I think this is a huge downgrade from the previous version.
I haven't seen it, and I will never see it. But
you won't. It's gone now. So
I liked the move of "Addicted to Blood," and I think making the parody move, I think, is a good one.
Yeah, the parody's good.
Like,
especially if you don't change any of the other lyrics, just the one that you have to
Exactly. Do you remember when in Glee they definitely only named Jonathan Groff's character Jesse so that they could have Finn sing Jesse's Girl? Mm-hmm. We should do an episode on Glee.
Oh, God.
the scariest television show.
But yeah, I feel like this track is kind of missing the, not to be blue, but like the raw sexual energy of the last one.
My main note for Dracula is not sex enough.
Yeah. We do get Big Cape in the "You Give Love a Bad Name" section, because they're like singing they're saying "You Give Love a Bad Name, Dracula." So Dracula's like, "What do I do?" And then he's just standing in the middle doing Cape choreo.
Oh, good for him.
It's really good.
They watched the Hollywood one and they were like, we should bring back the cape.
Yeah.
We need to make sure there's some cape in here.
And the rest are group numbers, or it's like some numbers of just the men or just the women. Like the bride and then Hip and Hop sing It's Raining Men about the men on stage.
Okay.
She's like, okay.
Sure.
And this production also introduced a segment in the middle where Beetlejuice would possess the rest of the monsters and make them dance to like a pop mashup.
Okay.
In this one, it was to Hey Ya, which like I don't ever object to the use of Hey Ya anywhere.
I do. Stop. Outcast is great. Why did we have to ruin one of their songs by playing it everywhere?
See, I literally never get tired of Hey Ya.
You're part of the problem.
Yeah. So then we move on to the fourth and final version. They changed it again in 2014, and this ran for 2 years, 2016. I do like that they changed it up. They keep it fresh, especially with the music and stuff. Because, like, I get using, like, timeless music in theme parks is usually fine. But there's really only, like, there's a certain threshold for it before they just become, like, old.
And you need to have one show that has modern pop stuff.
Yeah. This is a pretty huge change in both the lineup, the set, the script, all of it. Hip and Hop are cut.
They're gone.
They're gone. But they introduced 2 new monsters. They don't bring back the Phantom, but they bring back a new character in OC that is the Phantom of the Opera's daughter, whose name is Fantasia. And
God.
They introduce a female version of the Mummy who is like, they call her Cleo, so I think she's supposed to be Cleopatra. Listen, I love this.
That's a lot, but okay.
Yeah, I love this for Fantasia. But Universal, you own the Phantom of the Opera. You don't have to call her the Phantom's daughter. She can just be the Phantom now. There are no rules that says the Phantom cannot be a woman.
They can all be women.
Yeah.
Okay, new rule. The Universal Classic Monsters Band is no longer a band of men. They are all women now.
All women. You don't have to create this new character because, like, they have to. It's kind of weird. They have to.
Oh, we can't do that because then it's basically just Monster High.
Yeah, which is good, by the way.
I mean, good, but we don't want to,
Yeah, step on their toes either. Good for Fantasia, but like she can just be the Phantom of the Opera because then you have to go out of they take the time. They're like
Phantom is gender neutral.
They're like the Phantom of the Opera's daughter, Fantasia, and the audience is kind of like, okay. And I've also seen this version in person. And so the set list for this one was...
You need help.
I used to live in Florida.
Go on a ride. They have rides.
I've been on every Universal attraction except for Rip Ride Rocket and Hulk because I'm afraid of roller coasters.
Oh, okay. Rip Ride Rocket's not a scary roller coaster, but
it looks a big scary drop. Drop.
It's not that big of a drop.
It's like huge.
It's not. It's like 100 feet.
That's too many.
We're gonna ride Velocicoaster together.
Oh no, it has inversions. Bad. So the set list for this one, they open with "Let's Go Crazy" by Prince, which I think is a perfect choice.
Yeah.
Very excellent choice. Then Fantasia's introduced. She sings "Sweet Dreams" by the Eurythmics, which is also very good. But also they give her, she's like a DJ or something. She's like a DJ booth that like turns around to reveal her and stuff. And like she's like in like an EDM.
She
like
should
DJ
just
person.
be the Phantom.
She should just be
the Phantom of the EDM club, and she's a DJ.
She sings a little snippet of "Sweet Dreams" and stuff. Then they bring out the Mummy out, who she sings "Walk like a little bit of Walk Like an Egyptian," and then she does like a rap. Rap.
I got it. Yeah,
I get it now. Yeah. This arrangement of "Walk Like an Egyptian" does go off, but like the whole thing surrounding it is a little weird. Then all the girls then they do like introduce all the monsters and stuff. Then the girls sing "Girls Just Want to Have Fun."
They do.
Cute.
Girls do be wanting to have fun, yes.
Then the Wolfman sings a mashup of Dr. Feelgood and "Welcome to the Jungle," which I think is the best choice for the Wolfman so far. "Welcome to the Jungle"
very good.
Is a really
you know
good
what
choice.
the Wolfman should sing?
What?
Speaking of Glee, he should sing the mashup of Rio and Hungry Like the Wolf.
Oh my God. Why hasn't? Maybe they couldn't get the rights to Hungry Like the Wolf.
Hungry Like the Wolf. Yeah, Duran Duran.
Because that would have been an obvious choice.
Yeah.
That would have been an obvious choice for every production. Frankenstein then sings "Feed My Frankenstein" by Alice Cooper.
But then it would have been "Hungry Like the Wolf," man. That would have been sad.
Okay. Frankenstein sings "Feed My Frankenstein" by Alice Cooper. Again, excellent choice.
Yeah.
Don't know why they hadn't thought of it beforehand. And then Beetlejuice does his possession section where it usually just cycles through a bunch of pop songs, including Watch Me, like Whip and Nay Nay. And then, like, What Does the Fox Say? Which is, like, it kind of kills the vibe. Because, like, I was feeling it in the first half.
We need to step into the behind-the-scenes section of The Great American Scream, where I can tell you that this sentence in the outline says BJ's possession section. And Adam has used the initialism BJ for Beetlejuice throughout this, and I don't like it. But it literally says Watch Me, and then in parentheses, Whip/Nay Nay, which is... I like a lot because it's watch me do the following things: whip
or nay
and nay nay. It's very good. Okay, return to regular podcast.
Yeah, it kind of kills the vibe in like the middle of the show because previously I was kind of like vibing with this classic rock, and then like they kind of it feels
and the mashup move like
it's pandering. I'll say it. It's pandering.
Wow. Oh wow. Adam pulled out the P word.
But then Fantasia and Dracula sing a mashup of Smooth Criminal and Sweet Dreams, and this arrangement...
That's sick!
This arrangement goes hard. This arrangement goes really hard.
I'm not going to watch this, but I may listen to these songs.
Yeah, it's a Dracula redemption arc, because this is a way better than the Jesse's Girl, You Could Love a Bad Name thing, and it's MLM, WLW Solidarity.
Yeah, this is gays and lesbians working together for music and art.
And then the show closed with a reprise of Let's Go Crazy, but on the last day of the show's operation, they closed with Deo, which they hadn't used a long time in any version. So just to kind of like wrap it up. And this was the final version of the show as the theater, along with its next door neighbor, Disaster, the artist formerly known as Earthquake.
I loved that ride.
I loved too. Both of them torn down to make room for Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Which is just a screen ride, right?
It's so bad. Okay, so it's like you're in a chair and there's TV screens on three sides of you, and sometimes they shake the chair, and sometimes they blow a fire extinguisher in your face.
So it's a motion simulator, but it's bad.
But it's a horrible motion simulator. Like, have you been on the Kong one?
No, it's the same ride system though.
Yeah,
right?
way better version. Kong is this is a much awful version of Kong.
Yeah, because there's a Fast and the Furious section in the Hollywood.
Yes, it's
tram
that,
ride,
but it's the full ride,
and
it sucks.
and they took it and brought it to Orlando, but bad.
It's bad. There's nothing supercharged about it. It was it was not fast. It was not furious.
Or was it furious?
I was furious after I wrote it for the first time. Because I wrote it for the first time like 2 months after it opened, and it should have been a warning sign, because I was like, oh,
there was no line.
Wait till only 10 minutes. This is a brand new ride. And my roommates and I went, and we got off and we were like, is that
we
it?
all know why.
And
then you walked over to the Mummy.
And then we rode the Mummy, which is a way better ride. Beetlejuice effectively got whipped and nay-nayed to death by Fast and the Furious. So,
oh my god,
that was the end of his story. As far as
is that really the joke you wanted to end this podcast on? You could have said that Vin Diesel drove a big, fast muscle car into Beetlejuice and smashed him to pieces while jumping off of a skyscraper when it was filled with money, and he landed in a helicopter. But you said no.
Is that what the Fast
I think
and
that
Furious
was Fast 8. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen any of them.
All right, well.
I don't watch car movies, except for Cars.
Not a car movie, I would argue.
But yeah, so that was the end of the review. But Beetlejuice does still appear in the parks, you know. Like, I'd say, like, oh, maybe one day we'll see, but like, this is never coming back.
It's never gonna happen.
It's never coming back.
When are we gonna get a reboot of Beetlejuice? You know it's coming.
I know. I hope not soon though, because the OG one still holds up.
Yeah, and the musical was good.
Didn't I read something online about them doing a Beetlejuice remake? I hope not.
Beetlejuice remake.
I think
Beetlejuice 2.
Oh, that's been in development for like 40 years or something, right?
It's reportedly still happening as of January 18th, 2020.
There's no way Michael Keaton's going to do it.
Will Michael Keaton return?
There's no way.
I don't know.
He's got Birdman now. Is that what we call Birdman?
IMDb News says that Beetlejuice 2 came from the same source that said that Lethal Weapon 5 is in the works. So
yeah, I don't think so. But I hope they give another shot at the Beetlejuice Halloween Horror Nights house. And be able to realize it at its full capacity. But yeah, Devin, I'm really glad that you watched this.
I can't believe you made me do that.
Good. Please, again, channel is called Crapco. It is so good. Please watch it.
if you like amusement park shows, watch it and enjoy. If you hate them, you have to watch it because you have to feel the pain that I did.
Oh my God.
I don't hate
good.
the shows, but I had to do them. So
it was great.
Anyway, thank you for listening to this episode of Great American Scream. We hope it was very spooky and scary and told you all about the haunted culture of Beetlejuice.
Back in the Beetlejuice.
If you enjoyed, please leave a rate and review on iTunes, or if you're on Spotify, you can hit the follow button or follow and rate on whatever podcatcher you happen to use. Also, we have a Patreon at patreon.com/greatscreampod. We have tons of great rewards for you. Adam, can you pimp our social medias, please?
Yes, you can check us out on Facebook at The Great American Scream, or on Twitter and Instagram more frequently at Great Scream Pod. Let us know if you've ever seen the show, what you thought of it, which version you saw. And if you do watch the one that's on YouTube, please tell me what you thought, because it's my favorite thing in the world. You can tweet at us or post using the hashtag TGAS. And as always, if you have a suggestion for or something you'd like to hear on the show, let us know, because your suggestion may become a topic for a future episode.
Yes, thank you to Michael Segudo, who does the disclaimer at the beginning, as well as Stevie Viola, who does the intro and outro music. And an extra special thanks to all of our current patrons. So thank you to Ben, Eric, Casper, Bree, Gail, Joyce, Brucker, Melinda, and Chris. I've been Devin Wright.
I've been Adam O'Connell.
And hopefully you have been spooked. And I'm hungry like the wolf, man.